Hi, I'm LDS in Medium, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to try to bring religion and spirituality closer together, and this is what this pod is all about. I will talk about my own thoughts and feelings as I am both LDS and have spiritual gifts, something that I've had my whole life, but I always thought that it was hard to combine these gifts with my religion. This has torn me into two directions, and I have talked to many people who feel the same way. I can't choose not to have my spiritual gifts, but I can choose how I use them. And I always want to use them for good and to help others. I believe my heavenly parents gave them to me for a reason. So, this is me. Join my quest for knowledge. So, as me and my sister did a 5-day New World, New You challenge with Tony Robbins in this past January, we wanted to talk about what we experienced and our thoughts that we took with us from this challenge. It was 5 days packed with information and exercises and challenges every day. And that is why we decided to make this a sister episode and do shorter episodes over the week with our thoughts and reflections. This is also my chance to introduce you to my sister, my guiding light in the darkness and my anchor in reality, and my best friend. So this is episode 5 of day 1 of Tony Robbins' New World, New You challenge.
Part 5, the 4 parts of you. So as we're solving a problem, we need to change our state. Here, Tony Robbins brought up the 4 parts of you, which are archetypes. And he was talking about the warrior, the magician, the lover, and the sovereign. And the sovereign would be a king or a queen, kind of like a ruler.
Yeah, or a goddess. He said goddess too.
Oh, that's true. And so he was talking about these 4 archetypes, that we all have these aspects of ourselves, and that we can use these aspects of ourselves to change our state.
Yes.
So first he was talking about the warrior. How would the warrior stand? And what sound would the warrior make? And the magician knows it all, and everything changes as you change the perception. And then with the lover, he was talking about...
He wanted us to find where in our bodies that they lived. He gave us the warrior, the magician, the lover, and the sovereign, the goddess, queen, or king. And he asked us to find where in our bodies that we had this entity in ourselves. And then he asked us if we could connect words and emotions and sounds to each and every one of them. And maybe a physical movement or a tapping somewhere, just so that we could get in touch with it fast and have them come forward to us easily. Well, I think the main part is that he wants us to understand that we all have these different kind of, if you say archetypes, because Carl Jung was the one that came up with the 12 archetypes. And he had the hero, the magician, the lover, the ruler, the caregiver, everyman, jester, outlaw, explorer, sage, innocent, and artist or creator. And if we have these different kinds of archetypes in us, then we can bring them forth when we need to. If I have a hard meeting or something hard to do, then I can bring the warrior into me, and I can take that energy into me, and I can bring that with me as I step into the meeting. Or if I have to listen to someone that's sad, that has lost someone, then I can take the caregiver and I can use that energy inside of me, and I can come with compassion and a listening ear. So he wanted us to come in contact with different kind, and the warrior, the magician, lover, and queen was just 4 of the one he had chosen for us to understand that we can change the energy in our body when we change the archetype or the state that we identify us with. And you can use the warrior. If you identify the feeling of the warrior inside of you, you can take that mantle on and use it when you need to be more firm, when you need to set boundaries, when you need to say no and mean it. And the magician, you can use him when you want to change the world and you want to change the energy and you want it lightful and playful. So it was a way to actually change the state of mind and change the energy in a different way.
Yeah, I think I would act differently from the way I am now if I am just me or if I'm my warrior me. The warrior me comes out sometimes, especially when it comes to like defending somebody who I feel is innocent, or defending I've always been a lot of like wanting to defend. It's also a way of maybe making it a little bit more clear, kind of like assuming a role, but a role that's actually inside of you. Maybe it's a weaker part of you that you would want to reinforce, because a lot of people might have problems setting boundaries. They might have problems with conflict. And then you have to like, let's go, my inner warrior, let me stand up for myself.
It is. And you always have been extremely good at standing up for the other people and seeing them and helping out. And that's something you burn for. And I really admire you for that.
Thanks.
And so for me, it was really to find the inner strength that I have and to understand that I can use it, use my superpower for good. No, but honestly, like you said, if I get in a state of a warrior before I have to do something hard, it's not as hard because the warrior doesn't see the limits. It just charges on. And I can change the state after what I need to do, all the chores or the tasks or the thing that I'm experiencing. And to get in touch with these parts of myself, to understand them, to get to know them, to see how I am when I take on the part of a goddess or if I take on a part of a lover. And it was just interesting for me to see how it worked in my body and the sensations I felt and the feelings that I had when I started to working with the different kind of archetypes.
Yeah. So we had an assignment here after the first day. We were supposed to write down what is your old story and then think about what is your new story going to be. He used an example. I used to be a loser, and now I'm a victor. So that's something that you can think about. Like, what is an old story? Something that's limiting you, limiting belief, an old story, something that you told yourself, you've been told, something that keeps you actually back from achieving the greatness that's within you.
Well, my old story was that I'm not lovable. I think that's a common story. I think a lot of people has had that story in their lives. But to realize why it was a changing point for me, to understand when this story was created in myself and to see the pattern that it has brought with it from that point on, and to really embrace that I am lovable and to change that story in my head and to feel that I am worthy of everything. I'm important and I'm the most important person in my life. So that was really, really important for me in this.
Yeah, and I think maybe one limiting belief that I've had that's really keeping me back, and I'm like not through exploring this yet, but I'm seeing that I have a really hard time making decisions in some ways. And the thing is, I'm a creative person. I'm not an organized person. And it kind of holds me back a little bit in my family life, at my work sometimes. And it all comes out of this thing that I have a really hard time to make decisions. I fear that I'm going to lose something if I throw certain things away. There might be a belief of lack too, that I'm going to be lacking something. And I'm like investigating it, but I've realized that's kind of where it comes from. And for me, some things really takes a lot of energy just to take the decisions. But something actually that you taught me has helped me actually making the decisions and making it a lot easier. So for example, as I'm cleaning and organizing at home, I have a hard time deciding what's going to stay and what's going to be thrown away. So I was watching the KonMari method and I really liked having it neat and organized. I do. It's not like the first thing I'm thinking about, okay, now I need to clean up this mess or something. But so let's say clothes. How do I decide which clothes to keep? Now I muscle tested. And you taught me how to muscle test and I'm just like, am I supposed to keep this one? Yes or no? Do it really fast. And then I do 2 piles. Yes, no. But I also have a maybe pile. But if it grows too big, I have to go through it again and say, okay, yes or no, make a decision. But it takes a lot of energy from me. I don't know why, but yeah. But that's one of my stories. My story might be that I'm having a hard time making decisions. But with the muscle testing, it'll make it easier. And so I need to be more assertive in my decisions and just like stand by them.
Yeah, I think we both have a story about it can come in handy.
Yeah.
Since Grandpa was like a bit of an inventor.
Inventor, yeah.
And both grandpas have been like, and both our grandpas have had their things that it's always useful. It can always come in handy. And so I think we have it in us that, why throw that away? It can always come in handy. But I mean, it gets a lot in the end.
What if I need it later?
Yeah, exactly. But I see it in most of our siblings. I can see it, like a trace of it. So I think it's something that we've inherited from our grandparents, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. What is one action you could make today to start a new momentum? What can you do right now to start to change your story? And what ritual can you create so you keep it up? And what are your 2 goals for the year?
Well, I've started the pod. That was a big, huge thing, getting out of my comfort zone, doing something that I honestly didn't know if it's gonna flip or flop, no, but take off or whatever. And so just doing it. Someone said that if you have everything organized, everything planned out, and everything recorded, then you waited too long. And so we didn't do that. We just kind of dived in after a lot of thinking.
Yeah, we did.
But
we was like, let's start.
Let's start.
You know, let's start.
Let's just do it. And so we did it, and it's been fun. I really enjoyed every single time that we talked about it. We talked about what we're going to talk about, how we're going to record it, how we're going to do everything. You've been there with me every step of the way, like steering me, charging me on. It's like, you need to do this now.
Producer.
Yeah. But I really appreciated it, because if it would have only been me, it would probably never have gone through more than a thought or a dream or a wish. For a couple of more years, you're the one that made me do it, really do it. And so I'm really grateful for that.
From this day one, I really saw that don't make it too complicated. Start doing it. It'll, work itself out on the way. We're just learning. We're starting. At least we're doing it,
Yeah, just do it. Wasn't that Spencer W. Kimball's? Do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
And I think, we're learning, evolving, and we're trying out new things. Because we didn't set much boundaries, we're kind of free to do whatever. And so when we were talking about the Tony Robbins, it's like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to report back? How are we going to talk about what we learned? And we was like, okay, well, 1 episode per day, it's going to be huge. And so let's do 5 shorter episodes and release 1 a day. So it's going to be 1 week when we're going to release 5 episodes, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't want any musts. Let's take away all the musts. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be, maybe I am having a really bad week. I'm down with the flu or whatever, and I just can't record anything. Well, then that's a week without recordings. That's it. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a journey and adventure. And I'm learning so much as I go along. And I'm just so grateful that I have you to talk to get ideas from. And a lot of the time when I just go walking in the woods with a dog and I call you up and we just talk, I get so much inspiration. I get so much downloads. And it's just so wonderful. I really love this companionship that I have with you, and you're true inspiration to me, and I'm so grateful that you're doing this with me. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I think I've said this before to you, but I haven't said it on the pod since I haven't done an episode yet. But I think it's really cool how we got in the same family, and it's really helped us. But I'm so happy we're in the same family, really. We weren't probably, I know you weren't that happy when we were kids and I was 3 years younger and I was like copying you and everything. But now I'm really grateful. Who'd know if we would have found each other if we weren't in the same family, but now we are. So it made it a whole lot easier, I would say, our journey here.
Yeah, and it's so funny now that you're starting on your ascension process and you're starting to find your spiritual gifts, and how it's so wonderful to have someone in the family that I actually can talk to that doesn't look at me like I'm weird. When I talk about downloads and 12 chakras and everything that communicating with spirits and tarot readings and crystals, I love crystals.
I love crystals too.
And you're just like, yes, I bought some new stones. I didn't know. I bought 2 in case you didn't have any. It's like, yay.
Yeah.
But it's so wonderful to be able to be me, like fully me with someone in my family that I love and can just be so safe and comfort in just being me. All aspects of me, and so that makes me really grateful because there's not that many people in this world that know all shades of me, the essence of me. You understand it?
Yeah. You know what I'm grateful for? I'm grateful that you started a couple years before me, so now I actually have somebody to go to and ask. I'm like, oh, she knows this and this. I mean, I'm getting kind of like a free ride, I'm feeling in some points.
Well, I'm glad I'm good at something.
Yeah, I'm glad you already went through it. You know so many things that you already started learning, and which makes my ascension so much easier, I would guess, you know?
Yeah.
Or I would say. And so, but I'm glad also that we have a common goal, that we both feel passionately about helping people.
Yeah.
And that's what we're hoping that this pod is going to do.
Yes. So this was all for today. Hopefully you'll think this is awesome because this was really interesting and challenging for me to do. And I feel so much happier and I know so much more now about me. And that was awesome. So until next time, be the light, share the light, spread the light, shine.
This is my journey. Thank you so much for keeping me company today. Please download, like, share, and subscribe, and help spread the light and spread the word to expand our community. Let's bring more love, peace, and unity to this world. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Always be grateful, kind, and loving. Be brave and remember to step out of your comfort zone and smile. If you support us on Patreon, you will get access to our meditations and extra materials so you can download them as MP3. Also, we now have a Facebook group, which you can access from our Facebook community. Please answer the questions as you apply to participate. It will be a safe haven where we can keep discussing religion and spirituality, our spiritual gifts, and self-development. Remember, one person can make a difference, but together we can change the world.